Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to the Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey Podcast, episode 296. Chris.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
You look good.
Okay.
Well, I've got not the clearest of vision this morning because Ultra 3 was last night.
Oh, it was going off.
Ultra 3, biggest it's ever been. They did a national anthem to start the thing off.
I heard it.
I mean, I'm going to say double the number of people last year.
It was a zoo. I did the approach to it, and then I did a hard note and turned around. But I do have questions. Did they have a VIP section?
They did, actually. They did. It was the cage, the go-go cage, and Dolly was in there.
Oh, well, there you go.
There was, but what they were smart, they had a pit area roped off this year, so they could access the trikes, get on and off the track.
Uh-huh.
It's getting highly organized.
Well, that's good because, I saw the parking situation, people coming up the hill to Hammertown Heights, and I was like, holy mackerel. It was dangerous just crossing the street.
We're going to start charging parking for people that are parking in our neighborhood.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, we're here on the lakebed still.
Yep, another Bluebird
I don't even
day.
know what day it is.
It's
Wednesday.
another day
It's the day
in
after
paradise.
Ultra 3. That's what it is. It's the day after Ultra 3. I don't even know the date. I'm not sure if we're still in February or not. What's going on?
Time's irrelevant.
It is. It really is. Time just stops on the lakebed.
It gets light, it gets dark, and we just keep moving forward.
But time does march on, and if you're trying to build a race car, it gives zero fucks. Zero fucks on a deadline.
Well, there's a big clock on some people's walls, but
Countdown clock.
There's a deadline date, and when you need to be on the lakebed with an operating vehicle to go racing.
All right, without further ado, let's introduce our esteemed guest of honor today.
Ooh.
This morning. Early cup of coffee, cup of Joe talk with Justin Hall.
How's it going, guys?
How you doing, man?
Well,
Living the dream.
It
Somebody's
is-
dream. I just don't know whose it is, but I'm living it. Living the dream.
It looks good on Instagram, but they don't understand the hours and the lack of sleep and the financial burden and all that stuff of building a race car, trying to get it done before KOH.
Yeah, no one understands that unless you're actually doing it. It's no joke. Time away from family, like the sacrifices you have to make like that. Like you said, financial burden, just running out of time, and it's a lot of stress.
Yeah,
A lot of stress.
So let's back up a little bit.
beep, beep, beep.
Let's back up to the impetus of this new chassis that you're.
That was a
you're
big
building.
word. First off, I don't know
Right?
what that means.
Hey, it's coffee. It's morning
that
time,
was
man.
impressive. that was a $10 word
That was
out of a $5 man. No,
That was 3 syllables right there. 3 syllables a day after Ultra
that was
3.
impressive. I was impressed with that.
P-R-O-fessional. P-R-O-fessional right here.
Sometimes.
That's great.
Oh,
At least
man,
I
that
was
was
talking
awesome.
into my mic. I'm not talking into the Zoom over here.
Well, to preface that and explain that one, I started doing the pre-record bump, so I have a marker, and I didn't have a microphone in my hand, so I'm like, what am I doing?
Early morning.
Early morning shenanigans.
Yeah, anyway. So
Let's back it up, Jan. Yeah.
let's paint the picture, shall we? So this car, this chassis, so you had planned on building a new car a year ago or so?
I was planning on having a new car debuted for King of the Hammers, and I picked up the chassis, and it was pretty much a rolling chassis. I got it from Phil Accardi over at Liberty Mountain Fab
In Gardnerville.
in
Nevada.
Gardnerville, not too far away from
Yeah.
you, Jason. And yeah, I've been busting ass on it, trying to get it done. I had to get a couple customer cars knocked out, and then I think it was August, September is when I quit taking on customer work and just concentrated
Focusing.
solely on my own car. And I busted ass, like did as best as I could, and it's pretty much at the point where I left it in the shop. It's 98% done. Like it's got 50 gallons of fuel in it. Both front and rear diffs have oil in it, transfer case oil in it, transmission has oil in it. The dry sump system's all primed, ready to go.
Jeez.
The power, or the full hydro steering's primed, ready to go. Down to wiring. down to wiring and putting interior back together in it.
Wow.
All the panels are wrapped. All the interior panels
It's all
powder coated.
plumbed,
Like
yeah.
everything is like done.
Wow.
It just needs wiring.
Wow.
And I got to a point where I have the rear chassis harness done. The front chassis was halfway done. The engine harness was probably a quarter done. Then there still need to be the engine to the ECU, and then the ECU to the dash interface, and then the front PMU to the rear chassis interface. And there was like 3 or 4 other harnesses that I needed to get done, and I just couldn't rush it. I wasn't right. I wasn't going to do the car justice.
Right.
I wasn't going to like try to scramble to get something together just because it wouldn't have been right. And I wanted to do Phil right. I want to do all my marketing partners right by having a well sorted out car out here, and I just wasn't going to be able to make that happen.
Yeah.
So I pulled the plug on it. What was it? Last Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, last Tuesday night. And then kind of funny story about that. I just randomly text Bailey Cole. I'm like, hey, do you happen to know of a car that is sitting that needs a driver? And I never heard back from him. And then I got a text, and there was a text message, then a phone call from Dave Schneider, who used to be a huge part of Trend Fab, but he left, and he's now out in Kansas City now. I think it's Kansas City or just Kansas. I don't remember. It's it's some Kansas, and it's one of the two. It's Kansas City or just Kansas. I don't know.
Middle of the country.
Yeah, he's Midwest-ish, and he pretty much sent the text message said, "So I hear you need a car," and he goes, "Word travels fast even if I'm all the way in Kansas." And I was like thinking to myself, damn it, Bailey, you actually like pulled through and you just never told me anything.
You started making calls and texts. That's cool.
So it was actually the car that I'm driving. It's a rental first off. It is the first production top shelf Trent fabrication car.
Okay.
So they made one car as a prototype that TJ Flores drove, and then this car I'm driving was the next one. And it was kind of an anomaly car. It has longer links than any of the others. It's a little shorter wheelbase. There's so much different about this car. And it was originally debuted back in 2012 as a 4400 car, actually. So it actually truly fits into the Legends class of a 4400 car that got converted over to 4800 class.
Cool.
And so I had to go pick the car up in Carson City. So I drove from Morgan Hill to Carson City Thursday. Met up with the boys over at Baja Dynamics, which is Elvis and his crew. They were buttoning up the car, finishing up prep on it and whatnot. I loaded in the trailer. The first time I ever sat in the car was at like 9:30 at night, Thursday night, and literally just drove it around, pulled it right in the trailer, and started the drive down to Hesperia to get it dyno tuned. And then we get down there, or I don't know why I say we, it's literally was me driving. There was nobody else, maybe multiple personalities as I'm driving, talking to myself, I don't know. But get in the truck, drive to Hesperia, get down to Hesperia about like 9 o'clock in the morning. It's kind of funny story, because you're 395.
Yeah.
I was gonna be cruising through Mammoth right about like midnight, 1 o'clock, and I was like, I was hemming and hawing if I was going to make the drive because I didn't want to deal with the ice.
Yeah.
I said, screw it, I'm just making the drive and see what happens, because it didn't rain, there was no snow,
right?
But it's still the runoff and freezing
it melts
overnight.
during the day and refreezes.
Yeah.
On the highway. Yeah.
The last thing I want to do was have a situation like what happened to Amber. Was it last year?
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah, I was like, last thing I want to have happen is that, and I just bit the bullet and said, you know what, I'm just going to chance it. I need to get down there, see what happens. So luckily, didn't hit any ice, but I ended up sleeping in the truck. I think it was closer towards Bishop.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to stop sooner, but it was like 17 degrees.
You're
and I kept warm up? Excuse me. I kept looking at the temperature gauge in the truck. I was like, I'm not falling asleep in this. It's gonna be too cold in the truck. So I just kept driving till it got up. It got to like 28 degrees. I'm like, I could do that. Yeah.
Almost freezing.
I'm like, that's not bad. I could sleep in 28 degrees in my truck. So slept for like 2-3 hours, and then got up, drove the rest of it to Hesperia, and stopped off at FTA, Josh West. He's a dyno tuner, and so threw it on the hub dyno. made pretty decent power.
Yeah.
Like it's a sporty little LS, and backed it off the chassis down and it lost reverse.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, literally just shit the reverse band out of it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so that was fun. So still have yet to drive the car besides just pulling it in and out of the trailer. Whatever, drive it into the enclosed trailer, drive it to the lake bed. We push it out of the trailer, then drive it into the tent, and just park it there Friday night. And just like, we'll
Yep,
deal with
you
you in the
just-
morning.
you
We'll deal with you
That's
in
a
the morning.
tomorrow problem.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of
Yeah.
not my problem
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
And so Saturday, start the process, pulling the transmission out of the car. And get the tranny out of the car, and then tranny sits on the little trailer spare tire, just sits there and waits because we're trying to figure out what to do, who can have
Sure.
parts, how to make it happen because it's Saturday. Like all transmission shops are closed around here.
Sure.
We're trying to find an answer on the lake bed, and yeah, couldn't find nothing Saturday. Couldn't find nothing Sunday. Finally got a hold of Chris over at Maximum Transmission here in Hesperia, and he's like, hey, bring it by my camp tonight, and I'll take it in on Monday morning, and then I'll get it fixed Monday, and then give it back to you
Bring it
Monday
back.
night.
Wow.
So yeah, transmission, drop it off Sunday night, and then sit and wait. Monday was like twiddle thumbs and just waiting, wait.
It's like a vacation for
Yeah.
you.
Oh, totally. It's honestly probably the most sleep I've gotten in the last month and a half.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. And so yeah, get the tranny back, get it back in the car about 10:30 at night, and then go put 7 miles on it just to see what it was gonna do. Chris Rea jumped in the passenger
wrong
seat
seat?
in the wrong seat. Yeah, Ultra 4 Escort. He escorted me across the desert.
Perfect.
Just to see what the car was going to do and just to get some kind of feel because I qualify
Sure.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
like
Right.
the next day in the 11 o'clock hour, and I've never driven the car. So we ripped on it about 80 mile an hour through some decent stuff. I'm like, yeah, this will do. It'll get the job done. And then come back, park the car, sleep for the night, get up. And we made talking to Chris, I was like, hey, should I go pre-run the qualifying course? And at that time, we didn't have any spare parts for the car.
Okay.
Like, I had nothing. No spare driver lines, no nothing. Like I went and bought a spare serpentine belt on my way in.
Wow.
So I had at least a spare belt.
I got my spare part.
Yeah.
It's a wing and a prayer right
like,
there, Justin.
like I have no, there was no spare parts at that time because the spare drive lines for the car were with Bailey Cole, and they got lost on the ranch someplace.
Oh,
boy.
jeez.
So that was a whole shit show trying to find all that. Luckily, they eventually found it later on in the
great.
story. Yeah, so we're like, you know what? At that time, we had no spare parts. We're like, Chris said, if you watch the live feed enough and study enough, he goes, I think you'll be fine. Like, I've driven about 80% of that course in the past anyway.
Sure.
So I was like, you know what? That's fine. I just didn't do the top, whatever they call it, Gates Gate, that whole ridge on the top.
Gate.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know where that name came from. It's kind of interesting, but yeah, from the top of Short Bus all the way back around, that's the only bit that I haven't really driven before. So I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'll deal with it. I'll just drive what I see. And so line up for qualifying at 11 o'clock. We throw it out in a heater. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me how. We threw down a heater.
Just did
We,
it.
at the time when in the 11 o'clock hour, Cameron Steele was sitting first with the 344, and I was just cruising. I left like 20 to 25% of whatever the car had and
Yeah.
what my driving, like my actual 100% race pace was. I was like, I'm going to back her down because I don't want to beat the car. I don't know what it's going to do.
Right.
We're just going to back it down
Lot
and
of
see how it
unknowns.
does. And yeah, we threw down a 347.
Yeah.
We were
that's
sitting in
freaking
second
awesome.
place for a good part of the day, and then we got bumped down to fourth, and we held fourth all the way
A
till
long
power hour.
time, yeah.
And then after power hour, we got bumped all the way back to seventh, but
Still top 10.
top 10 with 7 miles of drive time in the car and never stepped foot on the qualifying course.
Oh my god.
So, not upset about it.
No.
Like, not upset. Like,
Absolutely not. What did Chris Ray was in the car during the qualify, right?
yeah, Chris was in the car because he was calling out corners and stuff just because.
So that had to help.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, he's been I've never had a wrong seat
Yeah.
person. I've always had a single seat car.
Uh-huh.
So it's been interesting. That was the first time anyone's ever sat in the right seat with me that was calling out corners and calling out stuff, and I wasn't sure if I was even going to like recognize a voice and like just listen, but
Sure.
it made a world of difference because I could just concentrate on driving what I see. Oh, okay, I need to turn right. Okay, cool. Boom, right-hand turn. Like I didn't have to think about turning right. Or like where I was turning right. Chris was doing the thinking of when I'm doing something. I just needed to make sure I did it, which was extremely helpful.
Now, did you and Chris sit down and talk about this? How this was going to play out? What information you wanted? And
Absolutely
stuff before?
not.
No,
Absolutely not.
I didn't think so.
No, absolutely
I didn't
not.
think so.
We had like a kind of half-ass idea, and Chris was just like, "I'm just gonna yell at you, and
I'm
then
just going to give you some.
I'm just gonna
info.
give you stuff, and if you listen, cool. If not, like we'll figure it out later." So yeah, that was the first time. Like besides
That's great.
the night before, Chris riding in the car, and we went in an area that just out in the desert that neither of us knew. We're like, "Oh, we're just gonna drive the car to see how it feels."
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that was the first time anyone's ever called notes to me. And Chris, we didn't talk about what I wanted because I don't know what I want.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Right.
I've never had a wrong seat driver, so I don't know what's right, what's wrong. So as far as Chris, I told him like, hey, do what you normally do for anybody else, and I'll just kind of figure it out on my end.
Yep. That's
There you
cool.
go. So Chris is your co-dog.
Yeah. So he was my co-dog. I hit him up back in like
Early on.
June to lock him in, and then everybody else wanted him after that.
Right.
And so Shannon Campbell asked Chris to co-drive. So Chris called me and said, "Hey, I have this opportunity. Like, can I do that?" And I was like, "Listen, dude, I know this is something you've wanted your whole life, like your whole career to be able to do this. Like, I know you've looked up to Shannon."
Yep.
And I was like, "You know what? I'm not going to tell you no." I said, "I'm not even sure I'm going to have a car on the lake bed at this point. And if I do have a car on the lake bed, I'm probably going to be working out some kinks. And it'll be beneficial for both of us if you can go pre-run with somebody else and see everything, because then I'm not beating the shit out of my car.
Sure.
Like, let Shannon go pre-run, do all that stuff, and get all the notes with Shannon, and then just jump in the car with me,
Yeah.
plug in your card, and we go about our day."
And vice versa, it helps out on 4400 day
Yeah,
that he
because-
gets to run the course the day before.
Yes. And then it worked out
Exactly.
also. Chris is co-driving for Trent Roberts in a UTV the day before my race. So
Holy smokes.
Chris is seeing the race course the day before for me, and he's seeing the day before for Shannon. The only one
Right.
that he doesn't get to see before
Right.
is Trent,
But he knows.
yeah, they know
Yeah.
they know how that works, and
Right.
yeah. So Chris it's been very helpful having Chris in
Cool.
this. It's a peace of mind I don't have to stress about, because still, like, we're out here. It's Wednesday, I think, right?
Yeah, Wednesday.
yeah,
It's still Wednesday.
Yeah, it's Wednesday, and
Wednesday of race week.
yeah, 4400 qualifying day.
Yeah.
And I have yet to touch a single rock trail out here. I haven't done any pre-running,
Wow.
like nothing, and I'm probably
So,
not going to.
I was going to
because
say, are you?
probably not.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just rather the shocks right now are dropped over at Fox, getting some valving added to it, and I got to do some other things on the car to get it ready to go, because it doesn't even have like a winch rope on the car right now. We put a winch
jeez.
on the car
Oh, it
Thursday.
didn't have a winch at all?
No, because the car ran Crandon, so they didn't need a
they
winch for
took it off,
Crandon.
yeah.
Oh, right.
And then so we put the winch on the car at Elvis's shop in Baja Dynamics in Carson City before I left, and they wired it up, and now I just got to put a winch
Right
rope
across
on
from
it.
our warehouse,
Yeah.
by the way. You
Is it-
sent the picture, and I'm like, wait a minute. You're at Elvis's
Yeah.
shop, because we had a conversation. You were on the road, and we chatted for a half an hour or so on the phone. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to Carson City to pick up the car. And I'm like, okay, well, Carson City's a pretty big place and stuff. And then you send a picture of the car out in front of the shop, and fuck, that's Elvis's shop.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right across from us.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
he goes, "I never put two and two together."
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's hilarious.
The
Was that the car that Bailey was going to race in Elvis?
Yes, that was the car that Bailey was going to race out here.
So
That-
what happened there?
It's not my place to speak for anybody else on all this, but
Oh, it's one of these
through the grapevine, what I heard was Bailey's Ford contract wouldn't let him not drive the Bronco,
Oh, okay.
and Bailey tried to put, I think, Jack, one of the Aussies,
Yeah.
in the Bronco,
Yeah.
and Ford was like, no,
No.
like you're the
driver.
You're the driver. You're in the
Gotcha.
car.
Gotcha.
That's my understanding of it. Like I
Okay.
said, it's not my. I don't
Yeah,
know how
no.
accurate that is,
Yeah,
but that was
that
my
sounds
understanding
right.
of
Sounds-
it.
It
Sounds
sounds
accurate.
legit. for
I've been in
sure.
that situation too, so I get it.
Yeah.
You know, because I've had people ask me to drive their cars, but I can't because they're not on Falcon tires.
Right.
So I said, if you want to put Falcons on, I'll happily drive your car. But my contract legally states that I cannot drive any vehicle that's not on Falcon.
That's not on
tires.
Falcon tires. Well, it's
Yeah.
easier to change tires than change a whole car.
Yeah, exactly.
Do a Bronco, make it look like a Bronco.
Exactly, right? And so yeah, the car ended up just sitting. and
Okay.
that's how I ended up with it.
Because when I was talking to Elvis, you know, he's saying, "Yeah, I'm a right seat for Bailey," and I'm like, "Oh, fucking cool." And then,
Now he's right seating for Woody.
okay,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
shit,
It's gonna be great because
oh jeez.
Elvis and I were talking. He was like, "If you pass this, I'm gonna secretly beat you." She's like, "Yes."
Hey, I want to get into a little bit about the qualifying course. I mean, this is not your first KOH, not your first qualifying run.
No.
How does this? Because I was watching the live feed like a lot of people yesterday, and it looked like some of that sections, some
Spicy.
sections of the course were gnarly.
Yeah, it was. There are big holes out there, and going up short bus, a lot of exposed like rocks that weren't there, but they're like buried in powder, so you don't see them. So if you watch my qualifying run, I was a little slow in the first half because I was trying to like not cut tires in the first half,
Sure.
and then across the upper side, I picked up the pace. I dropped into this hole with the right front, and it was just solid hit. I thought like for sure I cut a tire or something because it just felt like it was a 42-inch hole with a 37 that dropped into it, and it just like Chris and I were like, "Ooh, that was a solid hit." And they're coming down that top ridge. It gets pretty off camber back there, which is kind of, I think this is by far the best qualifying course that Ultra 4 and King of Hammers has had in the last 10 years,
Right.
12 years that I've been racing out here. Like, it's been an awesome qualifying course. It's a little bit of everything. You got little desert, you got short course, you have
Gap jump.
gap jump. I like jumps, so like
like
I have
jumps.
no problem hucking a car. And it's got all the technical rocks up there too, which is kind of cool to have, and a lot of off camber. Like, you get a little bit of everything because you have rock faces, you have the shaly downhill, you have the loose powdery uphill going up short bus, and you have like solid rock across the top of that ridge. Like, there's no like looseness up there. It's just solid rock up on the top
Sure.
up there, and then you get the pinch rock, and then like nice steep like powder like
Yeah,
sketchy downhill,
where
and
that side by side rolled.
Oh yeah.
yeah, where the side by side
So
rolled down it.
you're on social media on Instagram and you see these UTVs rolling down the hill and all these people not missing the gap jump, augering in and lawn darting.
Whoops.
Is that in your mind at all when you're thinking about the course? You're just doing your thing.
So- So it's kind of funny this year, like because of everything that the train wreck and stress of getting out here and all that stuff, and then the transmission issue. Like, I got to that point where everything's just like funny, and I just laugh at it all.
yeah,
And whatever happens, I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it.
yeah.
Like, it's just gonna happen. And
Sure.
It's just gonna be what it is. And like, I watched all the people, like a couple people lawn darted, people rolled down hills. I looked at it, I'm like,
Oh yeah.
it doesn't look that sketchy, but like, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go out, do what I do, and drive. Like, I don't.
But you come from extreme rock crawling was how you started your career. So you were doing some insane anti-gravity shit back in the
Yeah.
day. So that
Yeah.
doesn't bother you. But I was just wondering because like as a rec wheeler, I go up and I'm following somebody, and they get all fucked off on a rock or something or roll over, and then it's like, oh shit, that was the line I was going to take. And then
Well-
you you start guessing yourself a little
No,
bit.
then
but
you're like, not going to take that line.
but then you drive you just drive your rig how you know how to drive your rig and go, okay, and you know whatever. But there's a little bit of mental aspect there, I
But
guess.
you said the drive your own rig, like you know how to drive.
Yeah,
your
but
rig.
it's not even your
It's not
rig.
even my rig,
It's not
and I
even your
never even
rig.
drove it at race pace or at rock crawled it
Right,
once.
right.
Like, the last time I drove a top shelf car was probably, I think 12 years ago. I drove the original Crawl America car back when it was axle mounted rear shocks before they even did trailing arms.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I was at Moon Rocks like one Memorial weekend. Dave Schneider threw me in the car and he said, "Go give people rights."
right.
And that was my first time ever, driving a car at speed like that. And yeah, I haven't driven a Trent Fab car since then.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like I said, I got to that point where, you know how in Yellowstone when they were like trying to go figure out how we're gonna go get these cattle on the hill, and Rip and
That's
Casey
the
were like,
great-
well, sir, we came up with, fuck it.
Fuck it.
And then John Dutton's like,
Yeah.
you on board with that? And Casey's like, yeah. And then John's like, okay, well, fuck it is. That's
That's what
where
it is.
That's where I was at.
That's a great
This is
analogy.
where I'm
It
at.
is perfect.
That's probably one of the best scenes of Yellowstone.
It is. It's my favorite scene, and I was like, I can relate to that
Yeah,
finally.
exactly.
Finally at a point in my life where it's like, you know what?
We're just
Okay, cool.
fuck it.
Fuck it. This is where we're at. We're just gonna do what I know how to do. Yeah.
And that is the title of the episode. Fuck it.
I like it. Sold. But that's literally where I'm at with all this. It's just like, you know what? Okay.
The fuck it cattle drive. That's where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just gonna go up, do what we do, and see where things lie.
Oh,
and
that's
figure it out on the fly as we go.
Figure it out.
My whole pit crew, we have no idea anything about the car. We don't know really anything. We're driving by the seat of our pants right now.
Yeah.
Just
But
doing our best.
you have experience, and obviously, the contacts have helped you get here on the lakebed with a car instead of just being a spectator.
Oh yeah, we the amount of people that have come to help this
Right.
is insane. I forgot to say I'm borrowing wheels too because the wheels I have, the Dirty Life wheels I have, are 6 on 5.5. This car is a trophy truck 6 on 6.5 pattern. So,
Oh boy.
Ultra 4 Escort, Chris Ray did
Yeah.
his Ultra 4 escorting thing. Found me wheels on the lakebed that are Dirty Life wheels. That
Oh,
Kevin
perfect.
Stearns had a trailer of 40 wheels that he sold to another racer, Kevin Gamble. So Chris talked to Kevin Gamble and was like, "Hey, we need to borrow some wheels." And Kevin's like,
we
"Cool,
need 8.
no big deal." So
Awesome.
we jacked 8 wheels,
Yeah.
brand new 6 on 6.5 Dirty Life wheels. We jacked 8 of them and mounted them up. And yeah, that was
Got
like
your
there's
Falcon
been
tires
such
on
a
there.
huge effort
Yeah.
in getting me to race
Right.
out here.
Right.
Between Dave Schneider with lending me his car, Elvis knocking out the prep on it, Baja Dynamics, Kevin with the wheels, like Falcon mounted some tires for me onto the new wheels, and then Mike pit crew did stuff. I have guys from Washington come down, like all throughout California. I have 9 or 10 Australians that flew out this year to help too. Like
awesome.
that is the reason, like, my pit crew and the guys that have invested this much time into like trying to support me is a reason why I'm still here.
Well,
I actually am driving somebody else's car.
Yeah, I mean, how cool is that? There's the sport. I call it a sport. I always call it
It's a sport.
It's a sport.
Yep.
But I mean, the camaraderie and stuff is so good,
Yeah.
and it's unlike anything else, and it's just another example of people coming together to get you on the start line.
Yes.
And then I want to
Yeah.
race you.
Yeah.
I want let's do this.
Yeah, it's driving somebody else's car is such a huge opportunity that I've always wanted to have, and I've never had somebody offer a car
Right.
that I've never driven, because I feel like if you can drive somebody else's car and be successful in it, it proves that you are like you're a wheelman.
You're a driver. Yeah.
And that's I wanted to. Because this is my first year in 4800. I'm calling myself a rookie racer now.
Rookie for 4800. I love it.
Call myself a rookie racer in 4800.
Yeah.
Because it's the first year in 4800.
Right.
And I was worried if I could actually like hang with these guys, because it is a lot faster class. Like, it's way tighter knit as far as times wise. Cars are really fast, competitive cars, and I was worried about being able to hang with them. And I got handed a ringer of a car, man.
Yeah.
Like, this car is fast. Like, it's unreal how fast this car is.
That's awesome.
So your
Yeah.
old car, God rest its soul.
Yeah. That thing got wrecked at the old
4600.
4500.
I mean 4500.
Yeah,
I always get
45.
those two mixed up.
Yeah.
Well, your old car had a pretty impressive shock package on it, but a shorter travel situation
Yes.
because of the class, right?
Yes, it was limited to 14-inch travel shocks that were, I could have 2 per corner, but they had to be axle mounted.
Correct. So
Yeah.
how do you feel about going to a 4800 car with a single shock at each corner? How does that compare to the old car, I guess?
Honest to God, when I went out for that first 7 miles of a test drive, I went on going out towards Remote Pit 2, play a kind of area that I've been running my old car as a test session, test track, if you will, out here. And I went 20, 30 mile an hour faster right off the get-go, never even driving that car, than what I ever did in my 4500 car.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And you were allowed to run 37s on the 4500
Yes.
car.
Yes.
So it was literally, I mean, you still had plenty of whoop house,
Yeah.
just the shock package.
Yes.
Was the big
it's
difference.
the wheel travel is what makes a big difference. Like, the rear of that Trent car is 23 inches of rear wheel travel, and the front's pulling 15 and a half, 16,
Yeah.
something like that. It's unreal.
Well, I talked to Amber yesterday after her qualifying run. She had a great run.
Yeah.
And I go, what's it like, driving this bobber and everything? She goes, oh, my God, it's so smooth and everything. But coming from a Samurai, I mean,
Yeah, with
frickin'
52 horsepower.
Anything
Yeah.
would be much smoother. But,
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was just funny to hear her say that. It was just.
It's a big deal.
Sure.
Wheel
It's a
travel
huge.
is huge.
Yeah.
And having the power to get on top of whoops. You
Right.
have to just kind of sack up to do it.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. You see a set of whoops out there, and you're just those are big.
Yeah.
But if I don't get on top of them, it's going to not be fun. So I just got to sack up and put the foot down and grab gear and just haul ass across top of it. And if you do that, the cars take it.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Well, that's the beauty.
I tried to push myself yesterday. We did the desert lap yesterday in the Can-Am.
Yeah.
The Can-Ham.
Yeah.
But there's some deep fucking ruts on some
Yeah.
of this stuff. You
Yep.
know, you got cross grain right outside our camp, and that's like, okay, well, you can't fucking launch on top of those. But out in the desert, there are a series of whoops, and it's like, okay, I'm going to try a little bit faster, and it did. It did started to plane out a little bit.
It's wild if you can
Yeah.
actually just like get it out of your mindset of like those are big, I need to slow
Yeah.
down. No, those are big, I need to
Yeah.
speed up.
Yeah. But
Like-
then I kept reminding myself, you're not a racer. You're not a racer.
Yeah.
You're not a racer.
I've been fortunate lately where my new 4800 car is at. It's at Johnny's Custom Motorsports,
Uh-huh.
and they are big desert racers. They've been desert racing for the last 20 plus years, and there's JP who owns Total Racing Solutions, but it's their son. He's my engine tuner. Like the motorsports side, like it says Johnny's Custom Motorsports, which is his dad's side, and they have Jason Voss's Jimco trophy truck, that the red, white, and blue one that sent it over. Now it's Webster's Hill instead of BJ Baldwin's.
Yeah. That
So
was
they
awesome.
have that truck. Then they have a 6100 truck, and I've been learning so much about how to like shock setup and how to like drive in the desert from them. It's unreal. They've like kind of taken me under their wing because their shop's 10 minutes from mine. They're just
Okay.
in Gilroy.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've been doing an amazing like thing,
Cool.
like giving me tips and tricks on stuff. And just jumping in that Trent car, I was immediately like, oh, I can do this now. Because I remember them saying to do this. I'm like, okay, now I have a car that can actually do that.
You got the tools.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild.
I'm getting all pumped up, man.
Oh, look
This
at
is
Chris
gonna
over
be
Yeah,
here.
he's
super
standing up,
cool.
kind of jittery over here.
Got his
Yeah.
chest out.
yeah.
He's ready to go.
As you all
Yeah.
know, I'm going to be heading out of the Johnson Valley here tomorrow morning, but I'll be at home with my beer or bourbon of choice, sitting in
Something,
front
yeah.
of the big screen
Yep.
watching the racing. Can't wait. So
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Like I'm gonna be starting the fourth row on the inside. I've never started this high up, never once.
Yeah.
Last year was the first year I ever even got into the top 20 in my 4500 car because they combined 45 and 48. You know, this year I'm 7th overall in 4800, and that's insane to me
Who
that
are
I'm
you-
up that high.
who are
Wow.
you starting against?
I think it's Derek Summers I might be starting against, or his son Dylan. It's one of the two because I'm
One of the
split.
Summers?
I'm split between the two of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Are you going to talk to them or?
I don't know.
A little
We'll
combo,
figure
so
out.
we'll
Yeah,
we'll
I'll probably.
figure
Go,
it out.
I know Derek because Derek lives where I'm like in the Bay Area
Yeah.
pretty much. I think he might be Santa Cruz area
Uh-huh.
or like Scotts Valley, something like that.
Right,
But he's
right, right.
he's where around where I'm at, and he knows Johnny Webster from Johnny's Custom Motorsports. They're all like buddies and known each other for years. So like I was talking to him earlier yesterday after my qualifying run, and yeah, they both Dylan with their new Jimmy's car. Like he threw down a hell of a time too for his first ever qualifying at King of the Hammers,
Yeah, I
and
saw that.
Derek threw down a nice heater too. He beat me by like 0.5 seconds or something like that. Yeah. Like I said, it's insane how tight knit the 4800
Yeah.
is.
Oh, it is. It's super
Yeah.
competitive.
Yeah, we're all like
Super
within half a second of each other. It's
Yeah.
insane. Like it's wild.
Yeah.
And then you got like Brent Harrell, I forget.
Harrell, yeah.
Brent, yeah. And he threw down an absolute heater, but then the guy driving for Sean Reisky like whooped him by like 5 or 6 more seconds. Like I was insane how fast those
Well,
cars
you
are.
got, I think Cam Steele's in the mix up there too.
Yeah.
Cam is just ahead of Derek Summers. So Cam is at 5th, Derek is 6th, I'm 7th.
Yeah.
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 Like I was stoked I was even close to Cameron Steele because that name is
That's
huge.
Yeah,
like
that's
he's
right.
been doing this stuff
Right.
for 30 plus years.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly.
Like,
And I
it's-
mean, he's
it's
either
wild.
going to win or wreck.
Yeah.
Or not wreck, but break the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's driving an older Trent Fabrication car too that's owned by Brian Wood.
Okay.
Like, and Brian and I have been buddies since I was 19 years old. I'm
Wow.
36 now. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I like looked at the car. I'm like, man, I know that car. And yeah, it ended
Sure
up being
enough.
Brian Wood's Trent
Oh,
Fabrication
jeez.
car, which is also an older 4400 car that got brought into
Yeah.
4800. I think
Yeah.
that was like maybe number 7 or 8 of the production for the top shelf cars.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be so effing good.
It's always good, man. It's fun,
Yeah.
but it's good. It's fun for us knowing drivers like you and watching the journey and hearing all the backstories, and it's like shit.
The adventure, man.
The
That's what it
adventure.
is. It's addicting. As much as I hate it, like I absolutely hate being rushed and stressed
Well,
out,
right.
but like I wouldn't change this for the world. Like it's the memories and stories you get to tell from it. It's just insane.
quite a journey.
Yeah.
But what sucks is that once this race is over and you get home, you still got a lot of work left to just put everything back to get everybody's shit back to whoever you borrowed from.
Right.
Yeah. I gotta prep the car I'm driving now, and then I gotta like re-prep it
Right.
for him, and then
Fix it.
I still gotta finish my car.
Then you got to finish your car. Then you got to return tire or wheels and all that stuff. And then it's like, then you got another week of writing thank you notes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's true. Like sending thank you cards or something like.
Or send them
gotta be
a
like a
12-pack of
wedding
beer or a
registry.
really nice
Yeah.
bourbon or something.
Something,
I mean,
yeah. I owe a lot of people a lot of
No,
like
that's-
favors over like however long, whenever they need something. I'm gonna be saying yes, no problem. I will make this happen. for
Sure,
you."
but I'm
Like,
sure it's everybody remembers that, and they need
Yeah.
something from you. They know you can count on you. So.
Yeah.
Oh, you scratch my back, I'll scratch
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's
I
just
mean,
our
that,
culture
and that's one
here.
of the it's the same theme over and over again in this community, and it's super
Yeah.
cool. So
I don't know many people that will just hand out a like $150,000 race
No.
car and say, "Hey,
No.
go beat the shit out of my car
No.
in the hardest one-day off-road race in the
Right.
world." Like,
yeah, it's a leap of faith.
yeah,
Yeah.
Dave Schneider's putting a lot of faith in me on that one, and like I'm super thankful for that opportunity. Like I can't
Hell yeah.
thank him enough. Him and I have had our differences over the years. Like him and I have not been friends.
Oh, really?
Like we've known each other for a long time. I think I've known him since I was 16, and we've had our differences throughout the years. And like over the last like 3-4 years, we've kind of became really good friends. We bullshit, talk shit to each other, all that stuff. And for him to give me one of his cars and trust me with one of his
That's cool.
cars, like that
Yeah.
says a lot about
Saying
him.
something, yeah.
So
for sure.
Like, because he only wants, he's not gonna put somebody in a car that's not gonna win, and him having that faith in me is huge. Like
Yeah.
that makes me feel like incredibly blessed to have
Yeah.
that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. That's cool.
So let's talk about the car that's not done yet.
Yeah, what do you want to know?
What when
nice
do you
and
think
shiny.
when do you think you'll be premiering or debuting that car? What race would it be at?
Sadly, it's probably gonna be the Ultra 4 Stampede, and it's gonna be a giant mud fest because it's Prairie City in March, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to hate doing that to that car. I kind of like want to just hold on to that Trent Fab car just for like a little bit longer. Be like, Dave, sorry, bud, but I don't want to destroy my brand new car in mud. Like, I'll take care of your
Yeah.
car. Don't worry about it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Prairie City, of course, is right in our backyard.
Yeah.
So I mean, definitely, if you're going to debut the car there, Jason and I, if the stars align, we'll be there on
yeah,
the side.
it probably is going to
gonna
be that race, and that's my goal was to get it to there. If I couldn't make it to Hammers, and
Yeah.
it's gonna suck because that car's not set up for short course stuff. I'm setting it up for long distance races, so it's not gonna be the greatest short course car, but that is what it is, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah. Wow.
it's a cool car.
So
though.
wiring, are you doing the wiring or is
Yeah,
somebody else doing it?
myself
You're doing
and JP from
Okay.
Total Racing Solutions,
Okay.
him and I both are tag teaming the wiring on it.
Okay.
Like he does custom high end wiring
Yeah.
for trophy trucks, Ultra 4
Right.
cars, stuff like that. I've been fortunate enough that over the years he's taught me how to do it. So I go to my cars at their shop. Like I do all the wiring with them. He'll build the diagram for me, and then he's been knocking out the engine harness, and then I've been doing the rest of the chassis harness because the engine harness is pretty intricate and has some tricks that he hasn't shown me how to do yet.
Uh-huh.
So he's just taking care of that, and I'm taking
Perfect.
care of the rest of the stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Is that all CAN bus system?
Yeah, everything's all the ECU Master, their EMU Pro 16, which is their new badass engine management software. It's all PDM controlled. There's no fuses, no circuit breakers. Everything's
Yeah.
solid state drives.
Wow.
I have 2 of their PMU 16s. One's for the front, one's for the rear of the car. 2 CAN bus keypads. Their ECU Master 7-inch dash in the car. I think there's 25 sensors on multiple things.
Wow.
Might as well be speaking Greek there, bro.
It's,
No, I got
the,
it.
the amount of technology in this car is unreal. Like I'm stepping it up to, like I said, I've been hanging out with desert racers. Honest to God, where we're at now, we're 15 years behind where they're at.
Wow.
Like 10 to 15 years. We're that far behind in technology in these cars, and I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to bring this new car up, like bridge that gap a little bit closer, and like we're monitoring every single
Cylinder, right?
every cylinder gets an EGT sensor. Monitoring crankcase pressure. We're monitoring coolant pressure. Like
Pressure.
coolant pressure to make sure the water pump isn't failing. We have coolant temp into the motor, coolant temp out of the motor. We have brake pressure sensors for each front and rear mash cylinders. We have transmission has line pressure, temp in, temp out, and then there's one other one on there too. I forget what the other one is. I think it might be converter speed or something. I forget exactly what that one was. We have engine oil temp in, engine oil temp out. We have something cool, heat exchanger temp in, heat exchanger temp out, because we have a custom, like, there's no air to oil coolers on this car. Everything's done off heat exchangers.
Wow.
So Total Racing Solutions worked with PWR to design this heat exchanger setup and whole separate cooling system just for the heat exchanger. So you have my normal radiator, and then just in front of that is another core, like a radiator core, that pumps water through pulse width modulated water pump from, I think it's a Mazier water pump, and that feeds into this heat exchanger. It has 3 21 plate heat exchangers inside this one big unit. 2 are for the transmission, 1 is for engine oil. According to all the math that PWR does with their engineering, they say no matter what temperature it is outside, the water that heat exchanger sees coming out of the what is called the LTR, the water temp will only ever be 5 degrees hotter than ambient air temperature.
Wow.
That's impressive.
So that's, yeah.
And heat, this is important because heat always kills, you know?
Yes, heat kills things. The heat exchangers, water / coolant is a much better cooling than just air.
Yeah.
It dissipates heat better. That's why, like, everything's on a heat exchanger. Literally everything on the car. The hydraulic steering, that's ran off of the radiator. That's a whole separate, like, 21 plate heat exchanger up on the front. So that is the only one that's ran off the radiator. The radiator will do engine coolant and the hydraulic steering. Then the LTR handles the transmission engine oil.
Right. Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty impressive what we've done to this car.
Yeah.
The steering on the car, we're using a 10-inch throw ram, but we're only using 7.5 inches of it, so we internally limit it. But we decided to do a bigger ram because when you go full lock with like an 8-inch and using all the ram, the pistons all the way at the very end, the shaft will want to possibly flex and damage itself. So now using a 10-inch throw ram, only using 7.5 inches of it, the piston's not all the way at the end. It's in by like 2 inches. The shaft is more support on the shaft, less likely to bend and break. Total Race Solutions through the whole axle assembly in CAD. We figured out proper Ackerman for this car, you know, because Ackerman's car dependent based on wheelbase, like wheel travel, like steering angle, all that stuff. So he designed the steering arms, the ram placement, everything on the car. And like, it's insane how, like, we're trying to make this car actually turn, because all of these cars, they're just notorious for pushing.
Right.
They push through corners.
Right.
And so we're trying to counteract that by actually having proper steering geometry, which I feel some people just totally space on that. So yeah, it's
Crazy.
It's wild.
So yeah, I mean, there's a ton of details behind. I mean, you know, back in the day, it was just, you know, build some kind of chassis and slap some axles under
shit
it and
together,
go, right?
Yeah.
And now look at where this is at with all these sensors and engineering that's going on. And what's cool now with our modern day and age, you can put all this into the computing box and run scenarios and stress test and stuff that you would have to do, you know, months, years of R&D on.
Yes.
And you could literally do it in one afternoon on a stupid computer.
Yeah, it's wild. It's
computer.
insane.
We like to think the unlimited class is the spaceship class, but it definitely is trickling down into the 4800
It's trickling
Legends
down
class.
into some of the smaller classes. There's a lot of technology in some of these cars, but like I said, we're trying to do. I've noticed, and like JP's noticed, that the Ultra 4 cars seem to struggle long distance races. If you think of Vegas Torino, how many cars had issues in Vegas Torino that they couldn't make it past like 250 miles? But the way I'm looking at it, these guys prep these pre-runners to go pre-run the Baja 1000, they put 5,000 to 6,000 miles on and not touch a single thing on the car. So they're doing something different than what we're doing.
Sure.
So looking at how they do things, trying to bridge the gap to make it work in an Ultra 4 car is what I'm trying to do. Because I want a car to be able to go run the Vegas to Reno and not have a single problem besides just clipping along or something.
Yeah.
If something
Yeah,
just randomly fails, like
Sure.
just as dumb as it is, like a bolt or fitting come
Yeah.
loose or whatever, you know. But yeah, I'm trying to bridge that gap and try to make a car that will live long distance races, and because I feel like that's where we're lacking.
Yeah.
You think about it, our longest race is King of the Hammers.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And sure, the rocks are hard on vehicles, but after seeing how these desert guys are running in the desert, I feel the desert beats the crap out of cars more than the rocks do. Rocks add a different level of toughness by like binding and stuff like that, but the constant just beating on like the
just
rear diff, like
hammering.
just smacking whoops, like
Yeah.
that shock load of doing all that stuff, like back
Yeah.
and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Every
Yeah.
time you hit a whoop, that wears on cars. You know,
Yeah,
that
you-
wears on suspension joints. Suspension joints are working 10 times harder in the desert than they are in the
Sure.
rocks. You know.
But is the size of the components a magnitude? Is that the difference in the trophy trucks?
No,
or?
because they're running similar, the same differentials we're running. They're running the same inch and a quarter rod ends, or like 1 inch uniballs, or like inch and a quarter uniballs. Like they're using all the same parts we are, but like our cars, the cooling aspects of it isn't there. Like there's just little tips and tricks that I don't want to like give away everything.
No,
you know, 'cause I try to keep a little advantage for myself, but there's
Well,
things
that's
that
fine.
our cars don't have that those do. That our sport is a very like unique sport because it's a hybrid
Oh,
of
God,
rock
yeah.
crawling
Exactly.
and desert racing. So it's hard to set up a car to do both and be good at it. But
Well,
I'm
multiple
trying
dr-
to. I always thought a car needs to be more rock dependent than desert, but I'm now leaning towards a car needs to be more desert dependent
Interesting.
and just
yeah.
deal with it in the rocks. Because a
Yeah.
car can be stiff in the rocks and you can make it work still. You know, I need to be able to get through the desert fast
Yeah.
to get to the rocks. If I can pass everybody in the desert and then just deal with the rock crawling aspect of it, like that's not a big deal to me.
Sure.
You know, I don't know. It's a different mindset and different. I'm trying something different. I'm trying to break the mold.
No, and that's you've got the support, you got the wisdom and you know experience and stuff to do this. So
Yeah.
why not? And
It's just trying something new.
Yeah.
You know, trying something that's different than everybody else. I'm
Right.
trying to, like, because I have the Liberty Mount Fab car, which means I have Shock Jesus behind me.
sure,
And the shocks on the car, I'm setting them up, setting spring rates up quite a bit different than the way traditional Ultra 4s are set up.
Right.
And talked to Phil about it. He's like, he thinks it's really on the stiff side, and he goes, I'm not sure how this is going to work. He goes, I'm willing to give it a shot with you, but like just be prepared if this doesn't work, we're changing back to how we normally do things. I'm like, I get that. I just want to try something, try to break the mold and try something different. And it's cool that Phil's willing to work with me on that too, on my idea of like, hey, this might work, this might not work, but I would
Sure.
like to try it. Like we
Sure.
need to try something different to be trying to get better than everybody else. Because you build the same car, same style of thing as everybody else, you're not winning and you're not going to progress as well.
Well, I
Right.
mean, bleeding edge. We talk about this on the show. You know, you think about all the different ways to get to the end result, to the finish line, right? You have solid axle cars, independent front, and independent rear. You know, I mean, big block, small block, whatever. You know, shock packages, tires. It's just, what's the ultimate recipe? And it sounds like you're kind of breaking the mold, or at least trying to break the mold.
Trying to,
Just-
yes,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, trying to, because it may be the new. I'm creating a new mold. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I truly do not know. It's the same. I'm trying to do like what Shannon Campbell did years ago when he brought the first IFS car out and like
Right.
whooped everybody's ass with it. You know, I'm trying to do something similar to that,
Yeah.
but I just don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah.
Just like Shannon didn't know that was
Sure.
going to work, but he at least tried something different. And that's where I'm trying to go with the car. Is just
Gotcha.
tring something different.
All
Well,
right
cool.
on.
Well, we're going to continue to root for you, man. We're
Yeah.
huge fans of Justin Hall. Oh
I
my God,
appreciate
it's
that.
Justin Hall.
Oh man. What's funny about the oh my gosh Justin Hall? I was sitting on the qualifying like starting line, and the guy's like pointed to the front bumper. He goes, "Where's the sticker?" And he's like, "Where's the oh my gosh
Yeah.
Justin Hall sticker?" Because my 4500 car had it across
Sure.
the tire or the
Right.
drag link. So now I have to dig through my trailer, find a
See if
white
you can
one,
find
see
one?
if I can find one to put on the front of the
Oh,
car
that'd be
now.
great.
Because I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
because I've had like 3 people point that out, and I just haven't.
Sure.
it's not my car, so I
It's-
haven't added as many stickers as I would on it. I just
Right.
put the bare minimum of like my marketing partners and whatnot, and the rebranded of Justin Hall Motorsports instead of
Yeah.
Rock Hard Racing, and did all that on the car, and now I got to add the oh my gosh Justin Hall.
There you
someplace.
go. There you go.
Well, that's kind of your trademark. I mean,
I don't know. Like, it's my trademark. Apparently, it's not something I started, but I'm just rolling with it now
Yeah.
because it
Yeah,
sticks. I don't know
absolutely.
why it stuck, but it just stuck. So you know, like I'm gonna roll with it.
Yeah.
it's catchy. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, come
For
on.
the most
oh my
part.
God, it's Justin Hall.
So, you just mentioned it, but let's talk a little bit about the rebranding. So, what was the impetus of that? See, you used it twice in this podcast.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. I
Another
like it. Yeah.
three-syllable word.
That was. I don't know. It was one of those. I've wanted to try something different. Try like the Rock Hard Racing name. I've built that brand for almost 20 years now. You know, I started when I was 16. Like we started with that name. It used to be Team Rock Hard, and it was Team Rock Hard for a long time. And then I switched it to Rock Hard Racing once I started racing, and
Mhm.
it's just one of those where after my 4500 car wrecked, I was like, you know what? I think it's time to just like retire that name, because that car disappeared. Like, and I'm starting
Gotcha.
a whole new adventure with this. I'm like, you know what? I want to rebrand myself, rebrand the team. Like, I want my racing to be more than just like rock hard racing. I want
Right.
it to be a motorsports aspect, and
Got
like
it.
I want to. My long-term goal is for Justin Hall Motorsports to be involved in multiple different aspects of racing, like wheeling, all that stuff. I
Sure.
want to be like, it's a long-term goal down the road, but it's just something that I look at. Like look at NASCAR, like Hendricks Motorsports. Everyone has, it's all motorsports, quote unquote,
Sure.
not just racing,
Right.
Or that like it because the brand has to be more than just racing, because there's different aspects to motorsports than just racing. There's
Mhm.
social media side. There's going to trade shows. There's like all this stuff. So I'm trying to just
encompass all
everything exactly, and that was the driving force behind it.
that. Right on.
So yeah, and that's changed the name, like I said, to Justin Hall Motorsports. The reason I did that, not to be like cocky, have my name on it, you know,
Uh-huh.
but it seems like all like the bigger names in racing are always based off of the owner's name,
Sure.
and that's why I was like, you know what, if it's working for them, there's a reason they did it. So
Yeah.
I went that same direction.
Yeah, you don't want like
Yeah.
Jackass Motorsports or something.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want that. Yeah.
Lorenzo
Yeah, the
Motorsports.
Lorenzo Motorsports. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, you don't want that. So
No, we don't.
And then 13 Fab, you still got your shop.
yeah, I still have my shop, which is 13 Fabrication, and still in Morgan Hill. It's still my side hustle, but it's full LLC, like operates on its own,
Yeah.
like separate, and yeah, still plugging along with that.
That's
so,
cool.
Yep.
Right on.
Yeah, it's been
You've been busy.
yeah. 2025 was a year for a lot of changes for me, so I'm trying to it's a lot to do
Yeah.
in one fell
Yeah.
swoop, but it's something
Yeah.
that needs to happen. And
Yeah, and you're a family man now.
Yeah,
So you
got
got
a wife,
that.
got
Yeah.
a kiddo,
Yeah.
and yeah.
You went. I love. What was it? A couple years ago when you put out the meme on Valentine's Day. I just got to
Oh.
bring it up because
Yeah.
that was classic,
Yeah.
and then
What-
everybody's like, "Well,
it was
that
like-
didn't that
yeah,
didn't
that
wear
didn't
well.
age well,
That didn't
yeah.
age well."
What was it like? 9 months from now, you could either be in the garage working on a race car, or
Right.
you could be changing diapers.
That's right.
Make good choices.
That's
and-
right. That's
yeah,
right.
sure enough.
Yep.
I was changing diapers like 2 years later.
There you go.
Honestly, God, wouldn't change it for the
I was
world.
gonna say you
I-
got
I
got
love my
a
wife.
great-
I love my son. Like it's a really good life.
Absolutely, you got
It's
a
cool.
wonderful family.
My kid's growing up. He's grown up a great life. Like I'm super blessed to have my wife, whose parents have the ranch we live on.
Yeah, how great is that?
My kid grows up around horses, cattle, like sheep,
Yeah.
chickens. Like
So you gonna have a 170 soon, or what?
I've already been looking. I've been looking since I found out my wife was pregnant like 2
Yeah.
years ago. I've been trying to find
Yeah,
like a good
yeah.
deal that I can just
Yeah.
rat hole one and
Yeah.
then just like geek out on it. So it's just like fast as
It's-
for when he gets done.
It's happening.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's just a
happening.
matter of when. He's got a
Yeah.
little Jeep Power Wheels that he's just now figuring out how to drive himself.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
He definitely pushes his gas pedal just fine. We're trying to work on the steering aspect of it. So
Is it remote control? That
it
you
is
can
remote control.
Isn't that
yeah.
crazy now?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
Wow.
cool.
yeah. He's cool.
Have you modified that yet? Are you gonna put some
I
bigger
haven't-
batteries in it or
Nope,
something?
haven't touched it yet.
Okay,
Until he
okay.
can drive it is when I'll put
Coilovers.
the 20-volt batteries in it. Yeah, I just haven't done that. I bought the
Right.
adapters already.
Yeah.
They're ready to go.
Yeah.
He's just not there yet.
That's
Live
cool.
valve shocks.
Yeah.
No. That thing doesn't even have shocks on it. It's just like bumps him. And our whole property is base rock, so he just gets the crap beat out of him the whole time. But
you got to put some rubber tires on that.
That's freaking awesome.
He's all about it though. He loves
That's
that thing. He
cool.
loves jumping in the we have a little Kawasaki mule for a ranch thing to go drop hay off of horses and crap, and he has to sit in your lap and drive the mule. So I'll just let go of steering wheel. He'll sit on my lap. I'll hold him, and I'll be like, hey, make right turn. And he'll try to turn right because it's manual steering. So I kind of give him a hand. He's smart. He's figuring it out. So he's got a hell of a personality on him. He's rad.
He does. That's
He's
cool.
so funny.
Right on, man. Cool.
Cute kid.
Yep.
That's fun. Well, right on, man. Well.
Yeah. I don't know if we ever mentioned that you officiated my wedding.
I
too.
don't
know if we ever talked about
I
that.
don't know. Did we ever?
I don't know
if
if I've been on since then.
Probably not.
Maybe
'Cause
not.
Yeah.
We were supposed to record at the wedding.
It just never
Yeah,
happened.
right.
Yeah, I was a little preoccupied.
Libations were flowing.
yeah.
That was a fun day. The weather was perfect. The crowd was super
Yeah.
cool. A lot of racers in that crowd too.
Yeah.
Very, very fun.
90, pretty much actually 100% of my side of the wedding was all wheeling buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was all my friends, all friends. Everything on my wife's side was family and friends, but all mine was just 100% friends.
Yeah, that was
rad.
That was an honor, and then it was the first wedding in that venue. And
it was the very first one.
the winery?
Wedding there. Yeah, at J. Winston Winery
Yeah.
in Morgan Hill, 5 minutes from the house. It was cool.
I mean, they literally were raking stuff up and blowing stuff off after they just
Jason had a
everything.
Crawl magazine that he opened
That's
up instead of
right.
a Bible.
So
A Crawl magazine that he read
yeah.
out of, and it was pretty cool.
That was
Yeah.
that was a good one. That was
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
For sure.
no, right on. That
Yeah,
was,
I don't think I've been on since then,
No,
but I want to make
no.
sure give you a shout out. If anyone needs
Yeah.
to get married, Jason's
I am-
available. He's
I am officiant,
yeah.
ordained by William J. Lepedimane.
yeah. Is that just California, or can you do other states?
Oh no, California's a hard one. It's
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah, that's
No,
what, so you
actually,
can go.
Nevada's tougher because of Las Vegas.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, if anyone needs to get married,
But,
Jason's
yeah,
available.
Hit me
Yeah.
up. I've done.
He likes whiskey, whiskey or wine, and
That's
he.
right.
How many weddings did I do? I think I've done 8 or
Are they all
9.
still
They're all
intact?
still married.
Oh,
Every
okay.
one of them still married.
That's good. That's a good
So,
sign. That gives me
I
hope. As long as my wife doesn't divorce me after the race
There
course
you go.
situation.
Yeah,
But
this is going to be a true test on the marriage
exactly,
right now.
Yeah, this is.
This
Most
is
people have
good.
issues around the 7 to 10 year mark. I'm at the the year and 2 months mark, year and 3 months mark. So
That's hilarious.
No,
That's
my wife, like I
freaking
said, my wife's
awesome.
fucking
No,
awesome. She's amazing.
She's great.
Definitely fortunate to have her in this whole situation because she's
Yeah.
back home with the kid right now.
Yeah,
I haven't been around for the last month trying to get my car done.
yeah.
I took 5 weeks off of work so I could try to bust
Yeah.
ass, get done, and be here for hammers. And I would see my kid for 45 minutes in the morning,
Yeah.
and then I wouldn't get home till 2 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
We'll take
Yeah.
her out to a nice little.
I owe her.
Yeah,
big-
you got
I owe-
Valentine's Day coming up.
Yeah. I owe her big time. Yeah.
That's
No
right.
more changing diapers 9 months later though after Valentine's Day. That's not gonna happen. No more of that. Yeah.
Boy. I did it 3 times, man. I know what it's all about.
I did it once and then got the snip.
No,
Good.
you're done.
Done.
One and done.
Yeah, one and done.
That's
There
perfect.
you
Yep.
go. It's
Yeah.
different strokes. I mean, I have
Yeah.
3 children. My oldest is here with us this week.
That's exciting. That's cool.
you
Is
get
it
to
his
meet
first time out here?
No, this is the
No.
second time.
Okay,
But it's been
okay.
an 8-year gap.
Oh, his mind's probably blown about how
Well,
this is.
he went to the Ultra 3 last night, and he's just like, what the hell?
Yeah, well, I was there. I ran into Jason there
Yeah.
last night. I meandered over there around 9:30ish. Rolled over there and
I ran into part of your pit crew too.
yeah,
Sammy,
you ran into a few of my guys. The Aussies weren't there, but you ran into my crew chief and because we all kind of went together and
Yeah.
just kind of walked around and said hi to people we knew and. I hung out with Paul Wolf for quite a bit too.
Okay.
I don't get to see him very often, but him and I are really close
Yeah.
friends. So he's a really cool guy.
Yeah,
He's a hell of a wheel man.
Have
too.
you guys got him on the podcast yet?
Yeah, he's been
yeah.
on.
Okay, perfect, cool. I must have missed that episode. I need to go back
Yeah,
and
you
look for
need
that
to go
one.
back. That was
Yeah.
It was a remote episode we did over the internet.
Okay,
and,
yeah, I'll have to go back and look for that one because I
try-
caught up on a bunch when I was making my drive down here, and I need to go find that one because I love Paul. He's such a good guy. Hell of a wheel man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, talk about
Hell
wheelman.
of a wheel man.
The stories that he tells on the podcast about the junkyard, growing up in the junkyard.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You got to listen.
He's
to it.
such a down to earth dude, which is what's crazy about it. You would not guess that he's as good as a driver as he is.
Right.
Like, you talk to him,
just talking to him.
Yeah,
but
we were bullshitting last night about he goes, I've been following your build, it looks so awesome. He goes, dude, I had no idea you could weld like that.
yeah.
What do you mean? He goes, I said, I told you I build all my own stuff. He goes, yeah, but like I build my own stuff too, and like I can't weld like that. And I was like, well, like I'm forced to learn how to do it.
Sure.
And that's what he's like, man, like that's cool. He goes, I wish I could do that. I'm like, man, that's very rad hearing that from Paul
Right,
Wolf. You
right.
know,
Get
like,
some validation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to hear him say that he likes my build and like follows it
Sure.
like that means a lot
That-
too. He
yeah.
said it's looking really cool, and like I respect Paul a lot.
Sure.
Like I said, I've hung out with him quite a few times, gotten to know him, and I respect the hell out of that guy. He's
That's
such a
awesome.
good guy.
Right on.
Because I feel like he's like one of us.
Yeah.
Like he's just
Oh,
an
hell
average
yeah.
Joe that just got handed a really fucking cool opportunity,
Yeah.
and he is making the best out of it.
Yep.
And like, man, he is successful.
Yeah, and he's been 100% in too.
Yeah,
With
like that's-
multiple vehicles.
That's what I would like to get to that point. That's where I'm trying to get to. I mean, like I look up to how he does things,
Yeah.
and how his driving style is, and he's by far, like, if you watch him, he's like right on that edge.
Right.
He never like really crosses that edge, but he's like right there, like
Yeah.
I don't know.
100%
I've seen
of the
him
time.
cross the edge a couple
Yeah.
times.
See, I don't see that cross the edge. That's like taking a chance when you need to. It's
Yeah.
a calculated risk.
Yeah.
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 No, he's definitely a
Yeah.
fantastic driver,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it was cool to see him out there. I didn't really see like.
Oh, everybody's out there.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, I would. There's like walking around looking like, man, I didn't think they'd be there. Oh shoot, there's
No,
that
it-
person, and like, everybody shows up to that Ultra
It's
3.
the place to be on Tuesday
Yeah.
night. If you're not there, you're on the lakebed and you're not there.
It's either that
something's
or
wrong.
Taco Tuesday.
Well, that too. But you
Yeah.
hit Taco Tuesday and then
and
you
then
head
you go.
over there.
That's what we did.
That's what you do.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the
We hit
hack.
Taco Tuesday and then went over.
But
Milestar did a Taco Tuesday, I guess too. I didn't hear. I just randomly heard about that from somebody
oh
else.
yeah,
Yeah.
really?
we jumped
Yeah.
in on the Maxis one early in the week, and was it on the weekend?
I don't know. I wasn't here.
It was Sunday or something. Saturday? I don't know. Anyways, we jumped in on that. Because I'm running Maxis tires on the golf cart right now. So
Yeah.
I figured, okay.
Yeah,
Dude,
might as well.
La Bufadora, freaking their taco truck. And I thought, oh, we're just going to get like one or two. We got 3 tacos, beans, rice. Fucking money.
Yeah, that's what King was too. We got
Yeah.
beans, rice, 3 tacos. They had fish. They had asada, pastor, like,
Yep.
and then they had a potato one.
Yeah, the potato thing is something. That's a Hispanic thing.
It is a
I like
Hispanic
potatoes, and if
Yeah.
it's done right,
I don't know
it's
if I
good,
like it
but,
in a taco though.
But I got to have some carnage, man. Got to throw some carnage in there.
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
But-
it was good.
That's awesome. Well, right on,
Yeah.
man. Well, best of luck with the race.
Thank you. In a rental that I'm
Yeah,
just gonna drive and see what happens.
yeah. Tomorrow.
You
Yeah.
want-
No,
No,
Friday.
Thursday.
Friday.
Or Friday. Yeah, Friday.
God,
Friday.
see, time is all
Yeah.
screwed up.
I'm all-
Tomorrow's
I'm all-
golf carts.
yeah,
He's
tomorrow's-
all, wait a minute, I need another day.
Yeah. No, tomorrow's a UTV race,
Yep.
and then I race on Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, I do tech and contingency tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, so I gotta get the car dialed in. I have to, like I said, spool winch rope on, put the new Factor 55 Ultra hook on it.
Okay.
I think is what what it's called.
Yeah,
Chris
yeah.
Ray got
Ultra.
it for
Yeah.
me, and that and their hammer loop. I
Yeah,
think it
the
was.
hammer
yeah,
loop.
get the
Yeah, so I
hammer
got
loop.
one of those put on the car. I have to do that. Chris also got me a new winch rope from Warren. I have to do that. I got to get his Bluetooth receiver wired in. I have to get the radio programmed with my radio channels on it because it's a borrowed car that
Sure.
doesn't have my channels in, so I got to do that. Got to get the shocks back from Fox. Got to go test those, make sure
Sure.
they're happy. Got to put now that I have spare parts because Bailey and Jack found the spare drive lines.
That's awesome.
So now I got to put the spare drive line on the car. Like it's
Yeah.
a lot.
You got
Yes,
shit to do.
I
I
have
man.
shit to
do
do.
have a lot. I do have some stuff to do. Then I got to nut and bolt the car, paint mark everything, and make sure everything. Just do my normal like how
Yeah.
like
Oh,
the car
yeah.
came prepped from Baja Dynamics. Like Elvis did a great job on that. For me personally, my peace
You
mind,
need to
I
get
always
your-
touch everything.
Yeah.
Like he told me what
Absolutely.
he torqued things to, so I'm just gonna make sure I'll match his torque, make
That's
sure
great.
everything just clicks in, we're good. Then paint mark it, and then I could just have my peace of mind that I touched
Yep,
everything.
yep.
And like it's not a question of how Elvis
No,
does things,
no,
'cause, like,
not at all.
It's just for me as a driver, I always have to touch a
I-
car
I'm
before
the
it
same
leaves
way.
the start line.
I'm the
Absolutely.
same way. It's just like I don't hook up anybody else's trailer or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
You
I'll help
touch
you back
that.
up to
Yeah.
the ball.
I'll get you on the ball.
Yeah, and then
but
I'll help
take
you
it
load
from
up,
there.
and then you strap
Yeah.
your own stuff down.
Exactly.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
You can have that
Yeah.
peace of mind as the driver
Yeah.
that your shit's
Like I said,
taken
like
care of.
Elvis did a great job on the car. I haven't like Elvis and his crew came over to help pull the transmission. They helped install it back in. Like they've like stepped up big to help me.
So
out
what
on
was
that.
wrong with the transmission?
Shit, the reverse band.
It's just a reverse band blew.
Yeah. So what happened was, it got overlooked at LS Fest, I guess, on the East Coast. Bailey, because the the transfer case, they pulled all the low range gears out of it to create less rotating mass, so it was all in high range.
Oh, jeez.
So at LS Fest, Bailey backed up a set of tires and with a $5,000 converter and high range, trying to be in reverse, like load up the converter, try and get up. And I
It's
think
a very tall gear.
It just smoked it. And if Elvis had the car for like 3 or 4 more, like maybe even 2 more days, backing it in and out of the shop, it would have let go then too. It just, I got the shit into the luck.
Well,
on
at least
that
it did it where it did it, and not on the first lap.
Yes.
You know, and you got to back up because somebody just fucking stuck behind in front of you, and then you're done. Your race day is over with.
Yeah. So like it's not on anybody's prep. It wasn't. It just like a part failure. It was just dumb luck part failure.
Well, it was fortunate you found it when you did.
Yes,
so.
exactly. And sucks we didn't get a pre-run or really shock tune with the car, but we're making the best out of it. And like I said, fuck it. We're here. We're making it work, and we're just gonna do what I know how to do, and Chris is gonna do what he knows how to do, and we'll try to get the car on the podium. That's our goal.
I gotta say, this is the most relaxed race mode I've seen you in over the years. Because usually we go visit you in the pits,
we usually
and I'm stressed out, like running around.
I'm like, Chris, this isn't a good time. Let's go.
No, like it's literally just. I don't think I've ever been just like in this kind of mood either, and. Like, after qualifying yesterday, like, I was, like, kind of stressed. Like, I need to get the car done. And Chris Ray was like, you know what, dude? The mindset's been working for you how you've had.
Sure.
Like, come out to Ultra 3 with us.
Yeah.
Like, come hang out. Like, just stay in that mindset and just have fun again. I'm like, you know what? Like, that's a damn good way to look at it. So that's what I'm trying to do, and just relax. And, you know what? Like, it'll get done. The car will be good. Yeah. Not stressing over it. Like, and just... go out there and have fun.
Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah. Just do it. Do what you do and have fun. Yeah. And best of luck in the race.
Thank you.
We'll be rooting for you.
Fuck it. And then everybody's on board with it. So that's where we're at.
Justin, how do our listeners get a hold of you or follow you if they want to do that?
So I have Instagram, Justin Hall Motorsports. It's Justin Hall _motorsports. There's 13 Fabrication for the shop. I have a 13fabrication.com for the website for the shop as well. TikTok, I believe, is that Justin13. Facebook, you can follow me on my personal page. It's just normal Justin Hall. I think it's a picture of myself and my kid, and as a profile picture. And then there's Justin Hall Motorsports for Facebook side of it.
So you're all over the place.
Or you just like come find me and hang out, talk to me.
There you go.
Like, that's right.
I'm just an average person. I'm just like everybody else out here. I just got handed a really cool opportunity and trying to run with it, and have all that. And then huge thanks to all my marketing partners that I've had. Like when you say that all marketing partners, that's not really thanking everybody. You know, that's just you have to
blanket.
That's a blanket statement. So like you have Falcon Tire came on board again, Dirty Life Wheels. Brannick Motorsports like overnighted a shaft for my car that didn't quite make it. That something got mixed up in the order on my end, and they made it. They like did such an amazing job on getting me a shaft for that, and I feel like crap because I don't have my car out here for that.
Yeah.
But Rough Stuff Specialties, South Bay Driveline, Rome Adventure. They got all like coolers from them. Their crates and all that stuff to be able to pack pit boxes and stuff like that, which is rad. Monster Seal. Shoot, now I'm forgetting stuff. Let me break out the list.
There you go. 1 second. There you go.
I have a list for a reason for this. I should have done this before.
It's not your first rodeo.
No, it's not. Falcon Tires. Obviously, got to thank my own shop, 13 Fabrication, Johnny's Custom Auto Body, Johnny's Custom Motorsports, Total Racing Solutions, Dirty Life Wheels, Rough Stuff, ECU Masters, Driven Racing Oil, Yukon Gear and Axle, Brannick, South Bay Driveline, Monster Seal, OMP Racing, Willwood, and obviously Liberty Mountain Fab, like for the chassis and like working with me on all my shocks. And it's one of those that I had a conversation with Phil again before coming out here. I'm like, hey, I don't think I'm going to get the car done. I can rush it and be there. He goes, dude, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't rush it. Be smart. He goes, you're not going to do the car justice. And he goes, I'd rather you come out with a really bitchin' car and it's sorted rather than come out and have issues and have a bad showing. And you'd be surprised how many people have come up to me and said, you know what, dude, like you made the right choice.
Right.
Like it's insane how many people like, you know, you're smart for doing that.
Yeah.
He goes, most people won't do that, and they're like, I applaud you for not rushing it.
Sure.
Like that was a really cool thing to see. Like I've never had that many people like support that one. So
right on.
That's cool.
Yeah. Cool.
And then thank you guys for being out here and having me on the podcast.
Well, hell
Like, I
yeah,
appreciate
man.
it.
I'm glad it
You're
worked
always
out.
welcome. You know that.
Yeah.
We tried to do it before, but you were, as Chris says, banging and clanging.
Yeah. Super
Race
busy.
mode.
Yeah. Yeah, I was on a thrash fest trying to get stuff done and still do it perfect. And yeah, I can't forget also to thank my wife,
I was gonna
my
say
kid,
you got
my
a family
I got
now.
to thank all my pit crew guys, like all the guys come from Washington, the fucking
Right.
Aussies that fly out and
That's
support
so
me.
cool.
Like I have a very badass core group of people
Yeah.
that are all a part of this.
Sure.
So like I said, I can't thank them enough. Said the Johnny's Custom Motorsports, Johnny, Elisa, JP, like they've all taken me under their wing. Like they treat me like family. Like Johnny and Elisa treat me like one of their kids, like one of their sons. Like I'm very fortunate of everybody
That's
that's been
great.
involved in my race program lately.
Teamwork makes the dream
Yeah.
It
work.
really does.
Yeah, I
Sweet.
feel definitely super blessed to have the support that I do, and that's why I'm
Well,
still here and still pushing.
Your
trying to-
tribe, man. Yeah, you
Yeah.
created, and you know, the
I'm
years.
not, there's no quit because of the people that are behind.
Yeah, there
me.
you go.
So I can't quit because then I let them down.
Yeah.
Right. and
Yeah,
that's
they're
not-
they're
that's
the
not an
driving
option.
force for me doing what I'm doing.
Well,
and
especially if somebody's flying out from Australia, that's not an easy little
No.
day hike there.
No,
not at
that's
all.
full-fledged
That's
commitment right
a
there.
full
That-
commitment right
yes,
there.
exactly. That's maximum effort. Yeah,
Right on, right
maximum
on.
effort. That's a inside joke with Evan Jesse and all that. Maximum effort, but
Yeah,
giving
Yeah.
as best as I can.
for sure.
Yeah.
Sweet. How do they get a hold of us? Are we
Jinx,
on the same
who
page or
owes
what?
soda? Which one?
I'll do this.
Okay.
So you
got
can
this.
get a hold of Jason or Chris. Our emails are great. Jason at wheelingwinewhiskey.com or Chris at wheelingwinewhiskey.com. You can also do the IG, which you can DM us and we'll respond. That's a great way to get a hold of us. And that's at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. You can also call that famous phone number, the 408-800-5169. Leave a voice message and it'll most likely get played on the air. We've had a couple we've had to pull the ripcord on, but
You guys just slide into the DMs for them.
That's
like
right.
that.
That's right.
That's right.
Again, 408-800-5169. You can also catch us. Check out our website, wheelingwinewhiskey.com, where you can see all of our past episodes, and you can interact with us there also. If you scroll down to the bottom of the individual episodes, there's a little box where you can send feedback to us, and I see all that stuff. So, yeah, anyway, there's a lot going on. If you're not here at Hammers, you're missing out, but you can see it on the live stream on the YouTube channel, which is King of the Hammers YouTube channel. And, yeah, have fun watching the show.
And hearing these race motors out here right now, right outside the camper, is just electric, man.
It's 4,400 qualifying right now.
Yeah,
Big
the
dogs are
44
qualifying.
Yeah, big dogs
4,400.
are going.
We got Power Hour this afternoon.
It's gonna be
Looking
rad
forward
to see.
it. Listening to the Eagles sing. So, with that, Chris, we're out.